What is good, YouTube, man? Today I'm back with you guys, with the nation, for another video. And today, man, you know, I know I got us a good one, but before I get into today's topic, I have to give a big shout out to my boy Ice Nate. You already know the man is coming in clutch with the thumbnails. So please, if you can, give the boy Ice Nate some love and support on his channel at icy_nate on YouTube. He is being more active. It's the off season, man. So go check him out and show him some Raider Nation love, man. But let's get right into these topics now. As you can see by the title and thumbnail, you see some coaches. And if you look even more, you can tell that they're defensive coaches. And if you read the title, it clearly states the Raiders need a defensive change, man. And I know. Why do we need to change the defense, man? It was the offense that sucked. It was the defense was holding us in games, you know. You couldn't be more right, and I absolutely agree. But here's what I'll say, man. The defense absolutely held us in games. We were, I think, last in interceptions. We didn't get many turnovers. Now, we are a team that we have a franchise quarterback, but we know our quarterback isn't going to freaking start jumping over, doing backflips, and throwing passes, right? So what that means is that we are a more traditional offense. We have the more traditional NFL style of play on offense, which means you need a bit more help from the defense. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, look at Tom Brady. That's how he wins. He has defensive help. He got a defense that turns the ball over for him, gives him the ball an extra couple times a game. So, with that being said, man, I'm going to get right into the video. So, like I said, we didn't really have the best defense in terms of turnovers. So, I'm going to give you a couple options. You guys let me know what you guys think. All right, simple as that. Now, number one on this list is a guy that I spoke about in a couple videos ago, Jerod Mayo, Patriots linebacking coach. As we all know, the Patriots, they run a multiple style defense. So they're not just 3-4. They're not just 4-3. They also run the nickel. So they are a multiple style defense. So you kind of get best of both worlds, but at the same time, you're not going to be firing on all cylinders on one specifically, right? So you're gonna have a good set of a 3-4 base, and then you're gonna have a good set with a 4-3 base, and obviously you have your nickel as well, so you have your guys in there. But you know, he's kind of running two systems at the same time, which is something, you know, if you guys seen Charles Woodson's words, that's something that he feels like we need to be doing. We need to be more multiple. You can't just do same thing over and over and over again. Now, Jerod Mayo looks like he'll be going after a head coaching gig, so I'm not sure if we'll give it to him, but Jerod Mayo running that multiple style defense, that 3-4, that 4-3, that nickel, so you're kind of getting best of both worlds. He's a good coach. Like, again, all the time that one of those Patriots staff members leaves, they end up doing good somewhere else, right? So they're never really some failures anytime they leave. So Jerod Mayo is an option, right? Now, another option on this list for those of you guys who really want us to change the 4-3 system. Maybe you guys think the 4-3 is a little outdated. That's not where the NFL is at, you know. Hey, guess what? The Broncos just fired their head coach, former defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio. Now, the reason why I say Vic Fangio is because, listen, who's the most talked about person right now regarding the Raiders? Jim Harbaugh. This is a guy that Jim Harbaugh can go out and get. And this is very, very realistic. Now, Vic Fangio runs a 3-4 scheme. Of course, when you're running a 3-4, you do have those two high safeties. So that's something that we didn't have. We had that one deep high. Nothing too crazy. Jerod Mayo also did run that too high safety as well. So, I mean, this year we saw Merrick kind of out of the play almost, right? Merrick didn't really have a shot to be in the play because he was freaking 20 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and at that point he's kind of taking himself out the play, but making sure that nothing goes behind him, right? So Vic Fangio runs that 3-4 scheme, too high safety, suits Merrick very, very well, and it's actually very possible and very realistic with the rumors going around with Jim Harbaugh, right? So that's a possibility. Jerod Mayo, Vic Vic Fangio. Last on this list, I'm going to give this one right here. This is my personal favorite, but this is also for the guys that they don't think the 4-3 is outdated. They don't think that's too old school. They think that the 4-3 can still work, and that is defensive coordinator from the Indianapolis Colts, most likely to get a head coaching job somewhere, and their defensive coordinator, Eberflus, that's my guy. You guys have heard me talk about that every single time this conversation comes up. Now, he runs a 4-3, but he does not run it like Gus Bradley, where Gus Bradley only has one safety. He runs a split safety, right? When we all wanted Malik Hooker in free agency last year, he was coming from a split safety scheme out there with the Colts, right? And when we played the Colts, you guys saw they had a split safety scheme. And honestly, that's what I feel like we should do. I know that the cover 3 is kind of good, but you can't really disguise it too well when you're just running a deep high safety, when you're just running one safety over the top. Now, you see a pattern with all these guys? Jordan Mayo, 2 high safety. Vic Fangio, 2 high safety. Eberflus, 2 high safety. Now, like I said, that suits Merrick very, very well. As we all know, we drafted Merrick out of TCU in the 2nd round. We drafted him to be productive, right? And Eberflus runs a 4-3. You can tell that defense is always scary over there with the Colts. Like I said, he's a guy, may not be as strong like other 4-3 schemes, but his defense is always flying. It's always causing turnovers, man. He always has his guys running to the ball, making plays, and Eberflus ultimately would be my number 1 choice. But you guys hear me talk about the 3-4. You guys hear me talk about the 4-3. I'm going to give you guys some pros and cons of each scheme, right? So 3-4, I mean, it's pretty basic in terms of the concept, right? There's 3 defensive linemen, 4 linebackers, right? Hence the 3-4. Now the 4-3, 4 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers. Now let's talk about it. So the reason why a lot of people feel like a 3-4 scheme is the way forward is because, well, guess what? This is a pass-heavy league, so you want to have as many pass rushers on the field. That's why the 3-4 is very versatile, right? Because you can have 4 edge rushers, but since you're running a 3-4, you can have a 5th guy on the line of scrimmage at all times, and you can just send them. You can let them go. It's not really disguising, you don't really have to bring a linebacker down in the A gap and kind of make it a little bit obvious, or not obvious, but a little bit more noticeable for the offensive lineman. The 3-4 is very, very versatile. So let me get into this, right? The pros and cons with the 3-4 as far as our Raiders personnel. Now, I'm going to start off with the cons. The cons, Maxx Crosby. I know some people may disagree, but Maxx Crosby, in my opinion, he's not a 3-4 defensive end, but he's also not a 3-4 outside linebacker. Maxx Crosby, I know he can play inside a bit. We saw him play a little bit on the inside this last month and a half with the Raiders. I'm not sure if I'd want Maxx Crosby to play on the inside full time, but of course there's multiple different ways that you can play a 3-4. It's not just the stock, but that's one of the cons. Now, the other con is our $13 million edge rusher, Yannick Ngakoue. He was with the Baltimore Ravens. He proved that he is not a fit of the 3-4 defense, but he still had, I think, 3 or 4 sacks in like 6 weeks. So the production was still there, but he just kind of didn't suit them as well as they thought he would. So with Baltimore, Yannick kind of proved that he wasn't a fit there. Now, the other con, in my opinion, is Nate Hobbs. Nate Hobbs is not on the field when you run a 3-4. And he's a little bit more excluded than if you were to run a 4-3. Now, the last one, I know some people don't even like this guy. I know some people already want this guy out of here. But in my opinion, the last con of the 3-4, there's a good amount more, but the main ones is Johnathan Abram, right? I'm not sure that I want Johnathan Abram to full-time play as a linebacker, but at the same time, it's a split safety, right? So I also don't want Abram to go back up and split the field with Trayvon Merrick, right? So Trayvon Merrick, not sure that he should be able to be up top with Merrick. I don't think he fits there. And at the same time, I don't know if we should fully move him to linebacker, but there's a good amount of pros, and the pros being Trayvon Merrick. It helps Trayvon Merrick tremendously. You'll be able to see him break on passes much more. You'll be able to see a lot more pass breakups, more interceptions, in my opinion. With the 3-4, you're when I say versatile, you're extremely more versatile. You can run a cover 4 out of that base. You can run a cover 2 out of that base. You can run a cover 3 out of that base. You can run a cover 6 out of that base. The coverage abilities and the coverage options are endless in the 3-4. Now, Merrick, I think it suits him very well. I feel like it suits Clelin Ferrell very, very well. I feel like it suits our cornerbacks, since you're getting a 5th guy in the line of scrimmage, creates more pressure for the DBs so that they don't have to you know, they don't have to hold on to their guys for as long. It helps Malcolm Koonce. I think he's young enough. He can play as a stand-up rusher on the outside, as an edge rusher at outside linebacker. I really do. It helps Corey Littleton. He was an all-pro player with the Los Angeles Rams. He, like I said, all-pro. He'll return to his system that he played in. That'll be very, very good. I also feel like it suits Divine Diablo extremely well. Like, Koonce and Divine Diablo in this system, I feel like would really, really maximize their potential, as well as Merrick. Now, going over to the 4-3, the pros and cons of the 4-3, and this is Eberflus, it's his 4-3 with the split safety. Now, as it's a split safety scheme, I still think that the 4-3 benefits Merrick a lot. I feel like it benefits Hobbs a lot. It definitely benefits our Pro Bowl linebacker Denzel Perryman, because he's not switching schemes, so he's staying in the same scheme that he was already in. I think that still Divine Diablo, it suits him well. He's proved himself that he fits in this scheme. There's no problem with Divine Diablo. It also helps Jonathan Abram. You know, he can be that 8th guy coming down in the box as a strong safety. I think that's what suits him better, as a strong safety, but exclusively in the box. And Max and Yannick, it helps them the most. That's where they've had their most production in their career, is in a 4-3. So those are the pros of the 4-3. There is a couple cons, and with that being said, Clelin Ferrell, he's had no success in the 4-3 at all, like none. I don't care that people may say, well, it's been illness or injury. I think the 4-3 just doesn't suit Clelin Ferrell at all. He's not fast enough to be an edge rusher. It doesn't seem like he has enough speed on the outside. I don't think that he's developed many pass rushing moves. And as far as power, I think he has the power, but in the NFL, everybody has power offensive linemen. That's probably the best thing they'd want to go up against. They'd probably want to go up against a guy who only has power than finesse. And I just don't feel like the 4-3 fits Clelin Ferrell at all. I also feel like if you're running a 2 high safety, Merrick is just fine, but if you go into a 4-3 that runs just 1 deep high, it doesn't benefit Merrick. It keeps him out of the play. And also for your DBs, there's only 4 guys rushing, so your DBs kind of have to hold on for a little bit longer. And you know, it's just overall for your DBs, it's better to run a 3-4 because it's not many of them out there. And you know, they got that 5th man on the line of scrimmage at all times, so if they need to blitz them, they can, you know. And also the 4-3, much like Clelin Ferrell, it does not help Corey Littleton. It does not seem like Corey Littleton has been able to make that transition into a 4-3 linebacker. And you know, if I'm taking a look at this right, it seems like the 3-4 is the way to go. But the only thing holding me back from a 3-4 is, you know, Hobbs, Yannick, and Max. I'm a little worried about those guys. I don't want to change too much, but I do think Hobbs is young enough that he'll be able to adapt. Same with Max. I am worried about Yannick, though, if we do switch into a 3-4 scheme. But Raider Nation, let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. You got Gerard Mayo, who runs a multiple scheme. You got Vic Fangio, who runs a 3-4. And then you got Eberflus that runs 4-3, but it is a 2 high safety set. So you can run a bunch of different things out of the 4-3 with a 2 high safety set. Kind of like the 3-4. You can run that cover 4. You can run that cover 6. You can run that cover 2, the cover 3 as well. So there's so many things to look at here, but what do you guys think? Me, truly, I do think that the Raiders need a defensive change. Shout out to Gus Bradley. He helped us a lot. Without him, I don't think we would have made the playoffs, but, you know, we're in a scenario where it's kind of cleaning house, but on the staff side, we have players we just need to add on top of our roster, and I think that we'll be a very, very good team next year. We were a good team this year. I think we need to be a great one next year. Like I said, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Love y'all, nation. Like, comment, and subscribe if you're new on the road to 3,500 subscribers. Love y'all, nation. I'm out. Peace.